And we're going to jump right into speakers to start off, so we're switching it up a little bit right now. And our first speaker of the night is a household name here in Toronto and has been since 2013 when he was named the president and GM of basketball operations for the Toronto Raptors. He is also the founder of Giants of Africa Foundation. It's a nonprofit that's dedicated to promote the sport of basketball in Africa and also provide coaching and learning opportunities for many who need it. He is a very busy man, especially today. Thank goodness the NBA trade deadline was at 3, so he can make it, because he's a very busy man. Not as busy as Cleveland, apparently. I don't know if you saw that. But, right, it was really busy in Cleveland. But here we don't need all of that, of course. And so I want to introduce to you, it is my pleasure to introduce Masai Ujiri.
It sounds like she's from Cleveland. Oh man, this is really cool. I'm so appreciative to have this opportunity to speak here, and that's why even on a day like this, I find it important to come to things like this, to not only express yourself and share maybe a story or two, but hopefully the part I don't like is when you're talking about yourself. I don't like that that much. But any way you can inspire, maybe. And I think I'm blessed to have I think an inspiring story. If I start from being a young boy in northern Nigeria, growing up in a place that I think you people know is not so settled now. I grew up not very many miles from where the 200 or so girls were kidnapped a few years ago, and it amazes me, it still amazes me that I had the best childhood ever, and to see how things have moved and how things change in different places is still amazing. But growing up in a little town called Zaria in northern Nigeria, and whether I was starting to play basketball, growing up playing soccer, whether I was moving to the States and trying to play basketball in high school, college, gain an education, and being too skinny to go to like a high Division I school, and then all the places around the world that you experience people, and you experience culture, and you experience values of what people are about. I'll be honest with you guys, my education has been traveling. My education has been people. My education has been teaching, learning, and learning, and learning. You don't stop learning. You can't stop learning. My education has been respect. And you can't stop respecting people. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you meet. It doesn't matter how poor, how rich. Doesn't matter where someone lives. God put us in these places for different reasons. And God did not put anybody in a place permanently. He put us in places to progress, to grow, to learn, to be bigger, to think bigger, to dream, and to dream bigger. And that's what I truly believe in. And I believe that whether I was playing professional basketball, being lost a little bit in trying to find what my meaning in life was and what my calling was. I, I found a space in scouting. I found a space in a game that I love, but I wasn't good enough to play. I'll tell you guys this. Every September, when I was playing professional basketball, I had to wait till September every year. I never had a job in July. I never had a job in June. I had to wait for my agent until someone got hurt, and then he'd tell me, oh, you can go replace this guy in Belgium or in Germany or in France. And, you know, that became my education. I had a black book, and I had contacts, and I had people, and you know what? When you treat people well, it all comes back. Yes. I got a part-time, not even a part-time job, a job with the Orlando Magic as a volunteer scout. I happened to be in a place where I got extremely lucky to get this opportunity to scout for the Orlando Magic on my own dime, travel to different places. And but I was actually lucky, had a friend who had a Delta pass that would put me on their buddy pass, and I would travel to all kinds of places. One day I was in Russia, in Moscow, and the next day I was in Buenos Aires or different places in Africa trying to look for talent and basically what we all do is trying to impress. Trying to find that next step. And I was blessed that I did it with an open heart. I'll never forget, I went to Belgrade to scout one year, and that year, and didn't have much money, so I stayed with Obina Ikezie, who was a professional player in Nigeria and a friend. And he had this two-bedroom, he's a big-time player, he had this two-bedroom apartment, and every night I would go out to the internet cafe. I didn't have a computer or a laptop, and I would go out to the internet cafe to go send my reports. And one night I came back, and the door was locked. I had the key, but he had locked the door from inside, and he left his key in the door. I tried to open the door. I couldn't. I called his phone, and he was going through training camp at the time, and so he was very tired, and he didn't answer his phone. So here I was in Belgrade, about midnight, outside the door, winter, and I couldn't get in. I only had money for the internet cafe on me, and there was nowhere else to go. So I slept outside the door. And that's one of the most telling, I think, moments for me in my life, because you think a lot. And in the morning, I knew what time Obina was going to practice, and I didn't want him to see me sleeping outside. So I got up, and I went for a walk. I made sure he had left, and I knew he had taken the key, and now I could go in the door, and I went in the door. And for years, I never told him. And so I've been blessed to have my own foundation in Giants of Africa, and through basketball and through the blessings of all of you, we can go back to Africa and we can inspire youth through the game and teach them. And one day I brought Obina, who is an unbelievable businessman in Nigeria now and doing unbelievable things there, and I brought him to talk to the kids, the campers in my camp. And when he sat down, I told him I had something to tell him. And I told that story. And Obina cried. He cried because we do everything to try and bring people along. Yeah, you have to do everything to bring people along. Yeah, it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter where, who's the next person. We all think that we have to do something grand. You know, sometimes we want to build big things, or sometimes it can be something little, right? Yeah, sometimes it can be your little sister that you help. You don't have to help the whole world. Yeah, sometimes it can be your brother, your neighbor, or many things that can affect people. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. To me, basketball is life. It's my life. It's what I've been given. And so I have to give back to somebody. I have to give it back to people. Toronto is my life. The Raptors is my life. I serve it with everything that I can because I've been given this unique opportunity. Yeah, and this unique opportunity is huge. It's huge. So I urge all of you to continue to grow and to continue to dream big. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you.
Before he leaves, I need to clarify. I was just saying we don't need an overhaul in Toronto like Cleveland does. That's all. Just the joke. That's all, right? Congratulations. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks so much. And thank you for making the time again. Masai Ujiri, very busy today. And still, on top of this, it being NBA trade deadline day, wanted to come in and speak, even though he has to rush out. So really appreciate that. And I love what he said. When you treat people well, it all comes back. And he really recognizes, obviously, the opportunity here in Toronto. So it's great to hear from him as well.